I'm Phyllis. I live in my van.
Hello, tribe members. Today's video is about why I live in my van. I'm sure a lot of you who are not nomads, and I think most of my viewers are not nomads, wonder why a perfectly normal woman like me would choose to live in a van. So I'm going to try to explain it. I don't know if it's really going to hit all the questions, but I'm going to give it a shot. I've been camping since I was in my early 20s. We didn't camp when I was a kid, but as soon as I left the house, pretty much I started. I've always been an outside person, always lived in cities growing up and as an adult really, but my preference is being outside. It's just where I want to be. And even when I lived in a house, like, if you asked me what my favorite room was, it would be my back patio. I spent most of my time in my house either in my bedroom or on my patio. My whole life, though, I've been stuck in cities, especially Dallas, where I've spent most of my adult life because of marriages and children. So I couldn't ever live out in the country or live the kind of life that I wanted to live because of responsibilities. And I'm not saying I regret any of that. I've got 2 children out of those 2 marriages, and my second child is good. I'll make another video maybe about the first one, but it is what it is, and that's how I got stuck in cities. But once my second child graduated high school, which just happened last June, I sold my house at the end of June and bought this van on July 5th. So I felt bad for him because I did pretty much sell my house and leave as soon as he graduated high school. But I told him it wasn't about him, it was about the house. I said, you can come with me if you want to for the summer before college. Excuse me. But I'm selling this house and I'm leaving Dallas. I feel grateful for having a house. I know a lot of people don't have a house, but it always felt like a burden to me. They're a lot of work and they're expensive. In Dallas, you don't have yard work just in the summer. It's all year long. And I lived on a third of an acre. I had a third of an acre lot, and pretty much I would start the process, mowing and edging and go around. And by the time I got back to the beginning, it'd be time to start around again. And I don't want to spend my life in service to a yard. It's just not what I'm looking for. And they're expensive to upkeep. Like a couple of months before I sold the house, I had a bad, issue with my roof, and I had spent $10,000 on putting on a new roof. So they're expensive. And especially after my son graduated high school, I don't need that big house. I didn't need it before. But there was no reason for me to keep it. And I kind of hate to complain about having a house because, like I said, not everybody has that luxury. But I didn't want it anymore. That house felt like a lead weight around my ankle. Another reason why I'm a nomad is because I've always felt different. I've always felt like a bit of a misfit. And, one thing I didn't realize, I'm sorry, I'm a crier. One thing I didn't realize was a benefit from this life is we are all misfits on the road. There's a reason why people become nomads. There's different reasons for different people, but all of us in a way don't quite fit a normal life. And what that means is you meet other people who are like you in a way. And even if they're misfits in a different way, we tend to tolerate each other's differences. And that has been a beautiful thing. I think for the first time in my life, I feel like I really fit in somewhere, and I fit in with other nomads. So that's been a huge thing for me. Another reason I became a nomad was because I was tired of taking care of other people. My whole life I've taken care of other people since I was young. I was 8 years old when my brother was born. My mother was chronically depressed and spent most of my childhood in bed. And my father worked a lot and was an alcoholic. So I pretty much raised my brother and sister, and my sister's only a year younger than I was, but I just became the mom of the house. I would even stay home from school when my brother got sick, and he was sickly when he was young. My mother would just keep me home from school, and you can't do that now, but I would miss like 2/3 of the school days from staying home and taking care of my brother and, you know, keeping up the house. And I did the cooking, and like when my brother and sister would have nightmares, they wouldn't go to my parents' bed. They would come to my bed. So that's an indication of what my childhood was like. And then I started college when I was 17, and I'd had this plan that I was going to be a doctor, and instead of that plan, I came up with a new plan, which was to get pregnant my first semester of college. So I had my first child when I was 18, and married the father, and then just about when he was about ready to graduate from high school, I got married again for some reason, and then we had a baby. And my children are 20 years apart. So I took care of those 2 kids and those 2 men, we'll call them. So I was just tired of it. I wanted to just live for me. And this, my darling friends, my tribe, is for me. This is my life. And it's freaking beautiful. I love it so much. Every day of my life, I'm grateful. Even if it's a bad day, I'm grateful to be free, and I feel free. I really do feel free. And I'm grateful for every day of my life. It's just beautiful. I'm sorry. So I have sorry, I keep looking down at my notes. There's a few other things I had listed, but I think that's most of it. And this video is probably gonna be too long anyway. So, gosh, I'm sorry. So, in my next video, I'm gonna talk about what I like and don't like about living in a van. And I'm gonna talk about what you should think about if you've ever thought about living in a van. If you really want to do it, you can do it. But I'm going to give you some things to really think about before you jump in. Anyway, that's this video, and thanks so much for watching. I really do love and appreciate all of you. I'm just blown away by some of the comments and the support I've gotten, and I really do feel like you're my online tribe. So with that, I thank you very much, and goodbye.